Shannon, no. Okay. Shannon, you were not that upset to the point of tears that you did all of this because that man called you out and he clocked you because you are criticizing him. You weren't that upset. You weren't. You're upset because the one man there that actually likes you, that gives you some attention, that's not also looking at any of the other women, is not kissing your ass at this moment. That's the issue. But Earl, you too damn old to not eat vegetables. Too. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We're here for another recap and review of Love Hotel. This is season 1, episode 3, I believe. Romance in Retrograde. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, thumbsing up the video, and then leaving your comments down below. I am still really enjoying the show. I think it's cute. It's entertaining. It's not high stress. I'm still really enjoying the show. So let's get right into it. So the new group of guys have arrived. Remember, they found out last week that they were going to get some new men up in the mix, and most of the men are duds. Most of the men are duds. I saw maybe 2 men that could maybe sort of somewhat be something, but they got people like Craig. And it's no shade to Craig, but they got people like Craig up in there. So it okay. So Gizelle apparently already knows Ed. Okay. Now I loved how deep his voice was. They were calling him James Earl Jones, but she knows him. So as they're when he comes in, she was like, don't I know you? But okay. So the ladies all go off to go meet up with everybody and mix and mingle so they can decide who they're going to keep. So come to find out, Ed is someone that she knows from high school. She dated his cousin. I say his cousin, Gizelle, his cousin. But apparently they did sleep together back in the day, so that's out. And when she was like, I can't date you, he felt the same. So maybe it was a high school sweetheart. Maybe it was something to that effect because they both was like, yeah, I can't date you. Okay, cool. Shannon is talking to a group of guys, and Craig is there. Now, Craig is the young man with the two-tone hair, like he's all gray underneath and then still like, brown on top. But he's talking about his travels and he was in Dubai and he's doing this and he's going to Antarctica next. And you can tell that everybody is looking at him like, why are you going to Antarctica? And when Ashley is talking to him later, she tells him that he looks like somebody who's your doppelganger. And at first he said Stephen King. And she was like, no, I see a little handsome in there. See, Ashley likes these older men because she can sit there and she can yuck it up with them and she can stroke their ego and then they'll pay all her bills and give her money and all that type of stuff. So she tells him that he looks like Austin Powers. Now, that is not a compliment, Ashley. That's not a compliment. Luann is having a great conversation with Adam about education in his life, and Craig comes over, pulls up a chair, pulls up a table, sits down, and stares at Luann like a whole weirdo. And she was like, what's up? And he was like, oh, don't mind me. I just didn't want to miss. She was like, oh, he was like, I just don't want to. She was like, interrupt. He's, oh, no, I don't mind interrupting. I don't mind interrupting. He said, I don't want to miss the opportunity to have a conversation with you. You know, fuck about interrupting, y'all. Hollered. So they start talking about the eclipse and the number 7. And Luann said that she does things in sevens. She lives her life in 7-year cycles. So she was married. They were married for 7 years. Then she got a divorce. And then it's been a year, and then now 7 years later, she is now ready to mix and mingle again. Now, Adam, who she really liked, who she's been clocking, Adam said, look, well, my birthday is July 17th, 1970. Look at all them sevens. That freaks Luann out. She jumps up, and she's like, it's my father's birthday. And she runs away, like runs away. Gizelle peeps that she went running to the bathroom. So Gizelle goes to check on her, as she typically does with people. Meanwhile, we see Ashley talking to Jason. Jason is a 37-year-old, the black guy. Um, he's in real estate development, that type of stuff. So Ashley said in her confessional that she is trying to lean into dating more age appropriate men. So we find out that he was recently engaged, but he cheated, so now it's over. Ashley don't like that man. Ashley don't like that man. One, because he's black. I don't think Ashley's gonna date a black man. And two, because he's not old. If Ashley does get with a black man, he's gonna have to be an older man that is super rich, that is okay with being her sugar daddy. That's what Ashley's gonna be looking for. So the ladies all meet back up with Joe, and Gizelle is like, I'm not feeling any of these guys, not a one of them. And she said, I'm back to my original three. You know, she's on Ralph, Jay, and Phil. And I'm like, are you really on Jay though? Really? So the ladies get the opportunity to take a key, give it to a gentleman so they can check into the hotel, and that's who they're going to save. Luann saves Adam. Shannon saves James because have been having a good conversation. When they were over there talking before, they were both saying how I get to that because I feel like that's going to come later. But Shannon connects with James. Ashley saves Jason, the younger black guy, and Gizelle was like, "I'm gonna keep my key. I'm not gonna give it to anybody." Okay, I mean, it was very, very slim pickings, right? So the next morning, Ashley is leading the group in yoga, and she notices that Ralph has pecs, and I'm like, "Nope, stick to the Wale and adjacents that you're used to." Stick to them. So even though Shannon kept James, Luann is taking a liking to him a little bit more. And I'm like, Shannon, that's so funny because you be mortified anytime you have like this is interesting because anytime that Shannon in the back of her mind likes somebody and one of the other ladies decides to keep him, she get all, oh my God, I liked him. So like the fact that Shannon, but whatever, like Shannon and Luann are okay, I guess, with each other, helping each other out. So we see Gizelle talking to Jay once again. Jay is just her old faithful. Jay is just her excuse, kind of, I guess, for being on the show. So Gizelle tells him that she feels like the other ladies get a different side of him. Like they get the real Jay, the fun Jay, the more relaxed Jay. And Jay said, well, yeah, that's because I can tell that they like me. Giselle was like, I do like you. Jay said, but I can't tell if you like me romantically. So what it sounds like is because Gizelle isn't fawning over him, Jay doesn't know if she likes him, and it's because he really likes her. Now, the other ladies, he doesn't like Shannon. He doesn't like Luann. He just likes, he probably just enjoys their company on like a conversational type style, but he really, really likes Gizelle. And since Gizelle isn't reciprocating that same type of romantic feeling towards him, he's more reserved. So Gizelle said, look, you should be showing all sides of yourself to everybody, which is true. Which is true. So Gizelle then said that the secret to her is friendship and laughter, and Jay says the same thing. But I mean, Gizelle, I don't know if you're fully being open with this man either. On top of the fact that Jay, you are seemingly, from what we can see, you are different when you're with Gizelle than when you're with the other ladies. So Joe goes to talk to Shannon in her room, and Shannon said that she is trying to spend more time with Earl because she wants to get to know him. She then goes on to say she isn't a prize, and I'm like, look. Shannon, I don't want to hear this shit all season. You made a mistake. Well, I won't say it's a mistake. You made a choice to drive while under the influence. You caused the car crash. You caused all this other type of stuff. You did it, acknowledge it, and move on. But this whole woe is me type situation about it, I'm no prize. I'm no prize. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear somebody be self deprecating. That's not the way to win these guys over. Like, yeah, if you want to be honest and truthful about having the DUI, that's perfectly fine. But the fact that you keep doing this, it's like every conversation, it's almost like you're leading with that to try to beat these people to the punch. That shit is lame. Stop it. You did what you had to do. You've acknowledged that you were wrong. If you want to mention it, and then move on. Earl's ass don't care about that DUI. Earl don't care at all. So Wale is telling Jay, because he's now sitting over by Gizelle, and I forgot who the other guy was, but I want to say Ralph, maybe. But Wale is telling Jay that how you interact with someone is how you interact with them. Like, don't switch up. Basically, on some don't switch up. Giselle was like, yeah, because Ashley said you weren't funny. And I was like, you are only all about the jokes. So Wale was like, that's interesting because Ashley, we do have very serious conversations, but that's the kind of stuff that she's asking. So that's what I give her. And Giselle tells all the guys, you all need to be giving your full self to all the ladies. Don't just pick and choose what side of yourself to give us, because then when the ladies talk and when they have their little powwows, now everybody is clocking that, oh, he's different with you, then he's different with me, and that's not what you want. And I think that is where, well, I'm gonna get on Wale's ass later. So they're sitting at dinner. They're gonna have an astrology themed dinner where they have an astrologist there, and she's gonna talk about their sun, their moon, all that type of stuff, and how their Venus, which is your love, how it's the best way for these guys to kind of talk to them. Okay, I got a crazy glare on my glasses. I'm sorry, y'all. So Wale is telling Ashley that Giselle said that, Ashley felt he wasn't funny. Ashley said, yeah, we haven't laughed as much as I would have liked. Wale said, well, that's because you be talking to everyone else. And said that I just feel like you are more interested in knowing everyone but me. And Ashley was like, well, we just don't have the airiness and lightness in our conversations. She was like, but I'm also trying to be sensible about things. You want kids? I don't know if I want more children. Okay, so because Michael's ass probably told her, if you have some more children, I there's a reason Ashley don't want more kids, and I'm sure it stems from Michael. But Ashley is saying how she just wants to let this breathe. She wants to experience this full this full experience. So then Wale gets loud. If you don't like me, say you don't like me. You trying to find a reason not to like me. And I said, oh, Wale, your slip is hanging. And if she don't like you, it's because of this. Because why are you flipping out like this? Why are you crashing out like this? Ashley, in her confessional, said that she doesn't think she connects with younger guys because they haven't been married and they don't have kids, and she feels like they can't connect with her on that level. That's not what that is, Ashley. That's an excuse that you're using. Now, if you do not want more children, that's one thing. But to feel that you can't date these men because they haven't been married to an Australian man that treated you basically like a piece of meat, that treated you like a toy, but that belittled. Okay. So Shannon is sitting at dinner. We're sitting next to Earl, and they're reading the menu. And Shannon was like, "Can you read this for me? I can't read it. She don't have her readers on." So Earl is like, "I don't know why they brought this to me. I don't eat vegetables." I was with Shannon. What do you mean you don't eat vegetables? And Earl was like, why do you always look like you're so upset or just shocked or disgusted when I say things? Nigga, because you are 60 something years old, Earl, and you said you don't eat vegetables. Then he was like, I mean, there's always pizza, right? And you gonna make light of it? That's why that stomach looked the way you do, Earl. So Shannon is talking to Phil, who's on the other side of her, about how long he's lived in LA. And Phil is like, I mean, you know where Bel Crest is? I'm over there, and they're yucking it up about how you're right between the valley, and they're right between this, and you can just and they're talking. So for whatever reason, Shannon turns to Earl and was like, you need to participate in the conversation. Why? Why does Earl, who lives in, I think they said in the Atlanta area, why does Earl need to participate in your conversation with Phil about LA? do that, Shannon. I feel like Shannon is trying to find a reason to not like Earl. You can talk to Phil and like Phil and engage in conversation with Phil without Earl being a part of that. I thought that was super weird. So Earl then is like, why are you being so critical? This is your third time tonight. But then Earl is flustered and he can't give examples. So Phil is like, Phil is like, I mean, you can still, get in a conversation. Earl said, I have no point of reference. So, no, I can't talk about different areas in LA and where you live and what's close to the valley. I can. And I was with Earl with that. I was on Earl's side. There's literally no need for him to be in that conversation. Let him eat his meat, okay? So, Shannon apologizes to Earl for the comment about how he don't eat vegetables. And she then tells him that, vegetables are important in California. It's what they do, blah, blah, blah. It's not important in California. It's important as an adult, Shannon. Just as an adult. As a person, as a human, you need to eat vegetables, right? Green vegetable on every plate. Every time you eat something, there should be a green vegetable, okay? So she then tells him, if your feelings were hurt, then you should have just said that. He said, well, we're at a dinner party, sweetheart. It was a tone. It was a tone. There was a tone in there. So Gizelle is living for the drama. She's like, look, y'all, it's going down by Ashley. Ashley, Shannon. I'm like, Gizelle, you just gotta be messy, don't you? Worry about why you ain't talking to nobody. So Shannon is talking to Earl over to the side, and she said, look, she's upset because in the past her partners would be upset with her for no reason suddenly. Shannon, this was not for no reason suddenly. You were picking with that man, and you know you were. You know you were. So she then said that she would suddenly be ghosted or punished in some way. Earl said, well, it just reminded me of my first wife, and she was critical of me the way that you just were. She would then deny it and kind of gaslight him to thinking it didn't happen. Earl said, look, is this something is this a big deal? No, I'm fine. I'm over it. This is stupid. Shannon takes this and flips it, and it's like, oh, yeah, let's make me feel stupid for being upset. So then she says she feels like she don't know who he is, and she gets up and she walks away. I'm going to come back to you, Shannon. But when it comes to Earl, I think that Earl was feeling intimidated by the way that Phil was talking about where he lives and his houses, and that they had that LA California connection, and he doesn't have that with her. Now, so I think that that's for one. I think that Earl is intimidated by a lot of these other guys that he might deem a little more fancy than him, that are more refined, more well-traveled, all of that type of stuff. Earl seems like a very simple man that, is still not really over the death of his wife, that really just wants to find somebody to relax and enjoy life with. He can't afford Shannon. He can't. He can't. And it's not a dig, but the type of lifestyle that Shannon lives, Earl cannot be a part of that. He's not going to be able to sustain it. And I think that Earl knows that. So when Earl heard her talking to Phil and they're connecting over California and LA, he got a little insecure. On the flip, Shannon, I think that you like Phil, and you realized you like Phil, so you wanted to dog Earl out. You were picking with that man, and you know you were picking with him, and it was unnecessary. Because yeah, call that nigga out for not eating vegetables. Cool. But on the two, the way that you wanted him to interject into your conversation with Phil, you were just being messy. You were being messy, and then now you want to be all swollen in the chest and cry about it. Shut the fuck up, Shannon. You started this whole argument. So the astrologer is talking to Luann, tells her moon is in Sagittarius, which means she gets bored easily. So the guys need to, find a way to keep life, spontaneous and all that stuff for her. Gizelle and Ralph are talking, and Ralph asks if he should pursue her because he really likes her. Gizelle says she's open to it, and Ralph is like, good, because he isn't looking anywhere else. He likes her vibe. He likes that she's a hard nut to crack. He said he likes that they can laugh at other people and goof off. And she was like, I'm coming to see you in Nashville, whether you like it or not. I said, Gizelle, if you like this man, act like it. Act like it. I think Gizelle, because she's pretty, she feels like she's used to being chased by men. And the fact that these men aren't necessarily fawning all over her, she just don't know what to do. So Ashley, Luann, and Shannon are talking to the side because we remember Shannon ran her ass to the bathroom crying. Shannon is now venting about Earl, talking about he snapped after I asked about why he doesn't eat vegetables. Now he low key got a little pissy, but you kept picking with him, Shannon. So Luann said it best. Shannon is too sophisticated and worldly for Earl, and I promise you, it's no shade. People are just in different places, right? So the astrologer is now talking to Gizelle. I think Phil and Jay were over there with her. I think basically it's the lady sitting down with all the guys that they're interested in. So Giselle's Venus is in Scorpio, and so she needs someone to fusion with. She wants a connection that happens when two souls get together, and she wants a man that can truly feel. I was like, damn, I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, and my Venus is in Scorpio. So I said, let me take note. Let me take note of that, okay? So James is over to the side. Now, this scene took me out. Luann is sitting with Adam. They're relaxing in the chair. James comes over, takes her shoes off, and James is giving her a foot rub while screaming, I love my life, I love my life, because that's what they connected on earlier in the episode. He then gets in and lays in the bed with them, this like cabana bed or whatever it is. And I was with Adam. This is interesting. This is interesting. So Shannon is in her room sobbing, all but a weep. And the ladies go check on her. They knocking on the door. She don't want to answer. We see her like kind of, in the room moving around. She don't want to fool with them. So they go back to Ashley's room, and I was with Gizelle. All these tears, it's too much for this man that you have known for literally like, 3 or 4 days, sis. It's too much. Way too much. Gizelle said this is the love hotel, not the tears hotel. Come on, Shannon. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. So Ashley goes back out because everybody's going to bed now. Ashley goes back out to the bar and she wants to talk to Jason. And they're at the bar and they're getting ready to have a drink and talk. And Shannon comes out and crashes and was like, at 11:59, it's the 1 year mark of my DUI. James was like, that's my cue. Ashley, I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? So Ashley is on some damn, now I can't even really have my conversation. But Ashley asked Shannon, what do you want to do for your 11:59 mark? Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to celebrate? I'm here for you. And Shannon was saying that she expected Earl to be more, I guess, excited for her or to help her commemorate that in some way. And I get what you wanted, Shannon, but Earl doesn't know you like that. And you really haven't given him the chance to. You didn't give him a chance to do that. So Shannon takes a picture at the 11:59 mark to mark her growth and her progress 1 year later. I'm glad that Ashley was there for her because she was about to crash out. So onward and upward, Shannon, okay? So Ashley goes to tell the guys good night, asks Wale if he will be at the gym in the morning, and he was like, will you be there? I used to like Wale. I'm sick of Wale. Wale really was acting very sassy this episode. Like, Ashley, here's the thing, and he even said in his confessional at one point that he is struggling with this notion of her dating multiple guys. He doesn't know how to navigate this. This is interesting for him. This is hard for him, and he's trying to get out of his head with it. So Ashley was like, well, I have two two guys that I need to pick from. This is a lot, you know, whatever the case. And then Ralph was like, it's more than just two guys interested in you here. So Ashley was like, well, Ralph, that's interesting because you were my third, but okay. And I'm like, Ashley, let these other older women have Ralph's ass. Go on and talk to Jason and Carl today. So Ralph is now in his confessional saying that he has to figure out um or actually, Ashley tells Ralph that she's gonna let him and Gizelle figure out what they got going. But when Ashley leaves, Ralph is like, well, this changes things because I was all about Gizelle, but I guess now Ashley is in the mix. I said, ooh, messy. Now we know Ashley is with Lil Jack Harlow, so it really doesn't matter, right? This is a moot point, but it's a little interesting for now, at least. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Are y'all still watching? Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.